It's noon here in Ventnor, New Jersey, West Virginia, and Bethesda, Maryland. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Friday, March 24th. And, well, guess what? Zach doesn't have his soundboard today, so the F&I goddess just starts off on the screen with us today, Miss Kimberly Kline.
Yay! Thanks for having me, guys. I think today we should all make
thanks
our
for
own
being here.
sound effects.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's try. Let's try and redo the knock, knock, knock pops. I think someone's at the door. I'll go first. Pops, I think someone's at the door. Dad, your turn.
Zach, I think someone's at the door.
Kimberly,
Okay.
your turn.
Let me in. Hi, guys. Happy Friday.
I don't know if this should exist on the internet, but I'm just saying if you guys ever wanted to do improv, the three of us, just do a quick online improv show, I'm up for it.
They would want us. They'd pay us big bucks for that, huh, Ray?
I was going to say, instead of doing improv, we could probably just get Chat GPT.
Oh, God.
No.
All right, we are going to quickly switch directions and talk about our lead story, which is not the AI future that will become us. Instead, we're going to focus our attention on the Federal Reserve gang. Kimberly, you shared an interesting article, and we talked about it briefly yesterday, but the big story this week, of many, but one of the big stories, this headline: Fed raises, effectively doubling down on credit tightening. We had another 25 BIP increase in the Fed funds rate. Kimberly, this article, I don't know if you saw it on yesterday's show, Cox data, the latest Cox data, has the average APR for a used car auto loan north of 14%. Hard to believe, isn't it?
It is hard to believe. It is hard to believe. Oh my gosh, you guys. It really, really is. We're seeing more and more people, at least I am. I am hearing more and more people say, how do I get out of this? My payments are coming due. I can't handle this. Ray and I talked yesterday and said, that 45 days, it comes really quick. Because when you're sitting in the finance office and you're signing all your documents, you're thinking, and I've had so many people say this, oh, that's great. My payment's not due for 45 days. Oh, and in your brain, you think 45 days is like a year away. I don't know why, but sometimes people do.
I remember when I bought my car, you're just like, oh, I get to drive this car for free for 40. It's like, no, you don't.
So that 45 days comes really, really fast. And just on that topic, can I just share this one really quick thing? A Navy veteran, a young Navy veteran in Atlanta, Demetrius, he totaled his vehicle last summer, and now he comes around $25,000 more for a vehicle he's looking to get. He gets into it. I think he's one of these guys that gets in the finance office and thinks 45 days is a good deal. And already he has deferred his first couple of payments. And I'm seeing and hearing of more and more people deferring their payments, working with the lender. Deferring means taking that payment and sticking it onto the end of the loan so that you can have some breathing room. But you still got to make the payment.
I'll tell you what, if I was the bank and the customer wanted to defer his first and second payments, I'd be thinking to myself, who at the bank approved this loan? If the customer can't make the first or second payment, that loan should have never been approved. It just shouldn't have. I mean, what guidelines are we using at the bank to say, let's give this person that amount of money? It just, when we talked about it on Wednesday night with the forum that we had, it all comes back to the banks.
It does.
If my charger's not working, give me 1 second. You guys carry on.
Okay. If the banks wouldn't approve these loans, if the banks would require people to actually put 20 to 25% cash down, which they don't have, then dealers would be forced to lower the prices so that the vehicles could fit into the car loan parameters. which means dealers wouldn't bid up cars as much as they are at the auctions. So in my mind, it all comes back to the banks agreeing to finance more than they should
Yeah.
on all these vehicles.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Demetrius, the example I just gave you, his car payment was over $1,000. And so can you, the banks are saying, oh yeah, he can swing this. His DTI is such that he can swing this, his debt to income ratio. He can make this. The banks are deciding that Demetrius here, he can swing over $1,000 a month in auto payment.
And my guess is, and this is just a guess, Kimberly, but you could probably verify it to some degree. There are salespeople and finance managers who will say to a customer, the bank would never have approved this loan if they didn't think that you could make the payment. Okay. And even though the customer might know in his heart of hearts that he can't make the payment, or that it's going to be extremely difficult for him to make the payment, he will buy into, well, yeah, the bank wouldn't lend me the money if they didn't think I could.
Sure. And people ask us that every day. They ask the question, Kimberly, they wouldn't let me have this loan, right? That's not how that works. It's just not how it works. And I also read that Ray, still today, this was as of March 2nd, I believe, the typical household in America can afford a $400 a month car payment, but February's car payment was $765.
Yeah, that was the average. So
yeah,
so I guess that you might be able to extrapolate from that the average household are not the ones that are buying these vehicles. If all they can afford is a $400 a month car payment and the average payment $765, or more than likely, even though they know they can't afford a payment more than $400, they're signing up for the $765 because, well, they don't think they're going to be able to find anything that fits into the parameters that they can actually afford. So
exactly.
they stretch when they shouldn't.
Hey gang, bad
Hey,
news.
Zach.
I left my charger at home and I have 5% battery. So
On what?
What kind of is it?
You don't need your charger. Let me help you with this.
Okay.
Yeah,
That you have chargers built into the power plugs on your desk.
No, I'm plugged into that, Dad. I'm using
Yeah.
so much battery to power my computer. Like right now I can hardly see you because I turned the brightness down so much. And it says I have 5%. So I'm probably going to lose you in a couple minutes here. And then I get an early day at work, which is kind of nice, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
All right, Dad. Well,
if I was the CEO of this company, I'd have to have a chat with you.
4% went down to 4% as you said. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
Mistakes happen.
Yeah.
I hear you guys having this credit conversation. I completely agree. We talked about it on the roundtable on Wednesday night. The finger pointing here starts with the banks, and it's interesting to see the Fed is not dissuaded to get off of their rate and their interest rate hike campaign because they still see inflation happening, and you can't blame them, can you guys? I mean, you look at wholesale used car prices, and they say, "Oh, inflation's still rearing its ugly head. It's time for us to keep increasing rates." But it just makes it less and less attainable for folks like that story you were sharing, Kimberly. It just makes it impossible for people to actually afford vehicles.
It really does. And I'll tell you, if Craig from Flying Wheel said something at your roundtable the other night that really perked my ears, and he said, right? Yes, he is. He said that he's tired of seeing glamorizing of high car payments. And I did a little deep dive because I wasn't real sure what he was talking about. Who's out there saying, glamorizing a high car payment? Well, I went down the TikTok rabbit hole and I saw I saw a lot of things on the TikTok, but yeah, it's shocking to me. This is not normal, people. And I don't like I don't like this feeling of making it normal, because you know what happens when you come into the finance office? You feel even more at ease because, oh, your friend that you brought with you, well, they have a $1,200 car payment, so I can probably swing a grand. No, this is not normal. I don't want to see it become that way.
I can't, I've seen some of those TikToks, and they'll go around and well, yeah, my car payment's $900. Well, mine's $1,100. Oh yeah, mine's $1,800. What is wrong with these people? And maybe I'm applying my own values to suggest that there's something wrong with these people. But if you need to spend $1,800 a month to validate your worth and who you are as a human being, well, you need help. You absolutely need help. There is so much more that you can do with that $1,800.
Oh my gosh.
Rather than trying to create this persona of who you are, who you may or may not be. It's just, people need to get a grip on reality. And the reality is that vehicles are to get you from point A to point B. And I understand that some are more desirable than others, and some have more features than others. But if there's some way in your head and you're making like low six figures, and you can somehow justify an $1,800 a month car payment, there's something wrong with you. There just is. I'm sorry.
I agree.
I probably pissed off a small percentage of our audience by saying that, but that's okay. Zach, you're back. You flutter in and out, young man.
He does.
You're like a bird looking for a worm or something.
He's kind of blipping a little bit, like
yeah.
Oh, there he goes.
He's gone forever now, I think.
Yeah. I hope he has a good Friday, though. Enjoy your Friday, Zach.
Well, yeah.
Enjoy your Friday. Pressure in the finance office. It's going to happen more and more and more. And I just want to give a quick tip because people ask. You see these things on the menu, the products on the menu. Well, now with the interest rates being even higher, back, Ray, whenever the interest rates were 2.9 or something, I could easily add a product in and show the consumer, no matter how I did it, I could show them $3, $5, $10 a month. Well, you can't do that anymore because the interest rates are so freaking high. So if you're looking at some of these shiny products on the menu and you see a maintenance plan, now more than ever is the time that you need to do your homework on maintenance plans. You may want that maintenance plan and it might make sense to you. What do you do first? You ask the price.
Yes.
But even before that, you are going to go to the service department, find out how much it's going to cost you out of pocket to have that maintenance performed. Then you have a price. You've got a set price. Okay, this is how much it's going to cost me out of pocket. When you get in with the finance manager, ask him the price of the maintenance plan. Ask him if it covers the big, expensive, major services, which are generally at 20 or 30, 40, and 60,000 miles typically. And then weigh whether or not that makes sense for you. Remember, there's a convenience factor, and you're hedging against rising labor and materials.
But here's the other thing that you could do. Because if you buy one of those maintenance plans and you put it into finance, okay, you're paying interest.
You are.
Okay. And today's average new car interest rate is just under 9%. Okay. So how about, as a consumer, you take and you set up a repair savings account for future maintenance and repairs.
That sounds good.
And because, banks are paying, I think, more than 1% interest rate on savings accounts these days. Probably not much more, but eventually those rates are going to go up. So if you were to open up a maintenance and repair savings account and every month put $20 in to that account, okay, and let that accrue some interest, so that that money is making money, as opposed to adding it into your car payment on the loan, where that money is costing you money. So just save your money, so that when it's time for maintenance or repairs, you can go to that savings account, withdraw the money you're going to need to pay for that maintenance. It just, you know, people tend to only see and hear what it is that someone's trying to tell them, and they don't think about other ways of perhaps doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But to kind of counter that, Ray, back when I was a kid and I bought my first house,
Mhm.
way back when, and I bought my first house, I said I don't want to roll my taxes
Mhm.
in with, my escrow account every month. I don't want to do that. I would rather pay them separately. Why would
Yes.
I do that? And I remember the loan officer said to me, well, he said this, most never do it. And that can be the truth. Well, now more than ever, you should be thinking about that. If you can set up that little account like you just described,
Mhm.
absolutely do it.
And
And
I was going to
never
say, and
go
most
ahead.
never do it because they like the convenience of having it already done
Yes.
for them.
Yes, Ray. What is that word I can never pronounce?
Amortization?
That's it.
Yes.
Amortization schedule, or an early payoff calculator, which is much easier to say, but go take a look at one. A lot of people don't know what that is, Ray.
And what it is it shows it will give you a breakdown, and you can get very detailed with an amortization schedule, where it'll give you a breakdown, payment by payment, how much of each payment is going towards the principal, how much of that payment is going towards interest. And on car loans, at the beginning, you're paying more towards interest than you would at the end. So it would be nice if you were able to know, um, what your balance is, and how much of that balance is made up by interest, and how much of that balance is made up by principal, so that you have a better understanding of what you are, getting yourself into.
Yes, amortization schedule. Can I give you 3 tips? Can I give well, you already know, but can I can I give our audience 3 tips, um, on paying your loan off early?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, first one is find out if there's a prepayment penalty, first and foremost.
Yes.
There should not be.
Yes,
That's
in
kind of
most
a thing.
cases there is not.
Right.
Yes.
Secondly, pick up the phone, call the bank. Hey, if I make additional payments towards principal only, how do you want that?
Mhm.
Some banks want it in a completely separate check and mailed into them, but some will have lines on your payment booklet that'll show you, do you want to put any additional? So find out directly from the bank, how can I make additional monthly principal payments? And third, if you do write a check, make sure you put it in your memo. It's called CYA. I think we've all heard of that before. On
Yes.
your check, you want to put $20 principal only. Now, the memo on a check is for you personally, but if there's ever a question asked in the future, it will be shown there on that canceled check. I can't even begin to tell you how many people came into my finance office upset because I thought I was making additional monthly principal payments. And indeed, the bank did not put it towards principal, they put it towards interest. So protect yourself and do it.
I believe that with most banks, you could set up, from Jump Street, if you wanted to, that any overpayment that you make automatically goes towards principal and not interest. So if your car payment was the, average of $765, and you sent in $800 every month, and you had informed the bank initially that anytime you overpay, so in this case it would be $35 a month, that you would want to go towards the principal and not towards the interest. I think you could probably set that up with the bank initially if you wanted to.
Yeah, you just want to make sure you confirm that
Yes.
with the bank first. But Ray, an extra $20 a month, if you can squeeze it on top of that $1,000 payment,
Yes.
geez, then you've got that whole issue there.
Well, and you know, when we started the show with Dimitri,
Demetrius in Atlanta, yeah.
I mean, what he doesn't understand is that by deferring his payments, he's actually going to end up accruing more interest. Okay, so the balance on the loan is continuing to go up. It's not like the total amount due is still the same if you haven't made your payments.
Yeah.
If when you defer payments, for instance, when I remember there was a time when Minnie ran a special program and it was 90 days to your first payment.
Yes.
And people, you know, they get all excited. Well, what they didn't realize is, well, there's interest accrued from the day you sign to that 90th day when that first payment's due. And so it actually ends up increasing the amount of your payment over the full life of the loan.
Yep.
The only bargain there is that you've convinced yourself, well, I get to drive the car for 3 months without paying for it.
Right.
But ultimately, you're paying for it over the entire length of the loan.
You sure are.
I mean, as a desk manager sometimes, Kimberly, when I would be fighting, you know, over a couple dollars here or there on a monthly payment, oftentimes the way I was able to get to what the customer wanted was, normally when you desk a deal, it's set up automatically to figure the payment at 45 days for the first.
Yeah.
I would go in and I would manually change it to 30 days of the first payment, which would have a couple dollar savings in the amount of that monthly payment.
Yeah.
So it made it a little bit easier to get to that customer's payment. It just meant that the customer was going to be paying it back, the first payment, sooner rather than later.
Exactly. That's also a finance trick too. In the finance office is to back. Now, with the interest rates being as high as they are, I want everybody out there to know that you don't have to do 45 days out. Right? You can choose your date.
Yes.
You can do, well, let me preface by saying you can do between 30 and 45 days.
Yes.
So if you want pick your day. If it falls on your paycheck day and you can set it up with the bank, you can pick your day. It doesn't have to be 45.
Yeah, the only time that you normally can't pick the day is on a lease. And on a lease, it's typically exactly 30 days from when you sign. I see at the bottom of my screen.
I see.
I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but he's making me laugh. I can tell you that. Yeah. Hit the join now button, buddy. What now? Now we can't hear you?
No, you can hear me, man. What a challenge on that. You guys have been doing a great job, though. You guys have been doing a great job.
Well,
what are you on your phone now?
I am on my phone, man. That was rough. But thank you for bearing with me. I enjoyed the conversation you were having, though. Someone mentioned the rule of 72 in the chat. Do you guys know
I thought it was the rule of 78.
What is it?
It's how the interest is compounded, I believe.
Yeah. Well, but your auto loan should be a fixed, simple interest loan. If that helps.
Could help. Well, I had a couple other things that were in mind that I would have pulled up on the screen, but I can at least toss them to you guys, and you guys can answer about them. How's that sound?
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds great.
One thing was GM, there was some new news from GM. They actually reported for February their day supply of inventory was below 60 units over at Chevy. And I found that to be very interesting because that's the new normal. They want everything to be below 60 days supply. So they managed to stop production of certain units, and now they have less than a 60-day supply. So you've got this mixture of increasing interest rates and affordability crisis paired with an automaker who is determined to make sure they keep prices unattainably high for many folks. I found that to be disheartening and also interesting that they confirmed a under 60-day supply for Chevy.
If I may, it might actually make sense in today's world to do that for the simple reason that the price of vehicles is so damn high, the cost of financed vehicles is so damn high that the percentage or the amount of people that actually find themselves in the market is dwindling. So, realistically, a 60-day supply for a much smaller segment of society being in the market could still end up being too large of a day supply. Just a thought.
It's all going to come crashing down one of these days. Oh my God, so many people are going to be so buried in their vehicles.
But then they're not going to have. Then they're not going to have options at Chevy to go pick up something that's attainable. Yeah, I found that to be fascinating. There was another GM piece that I was really excited to pull up on the screen, but I obviously won't be able to. Can't quite do that from the iPhone. That was some of the autonomous cars from GM, their cruise cars. They had another accident out in San Francisco, got caught up in some wires. It's exactly. I found that to be kind of funny and kind of interesting.
Well, I guess I could say I'm glad I'm not in San Francisco.
I will never be in an autonomous car. Not going to happen.
You wouldn't do it, Kimberly? My dad and I have done it before. It had 2 drivers.
Yeah, that was the thing. We were in an autonomous Lyft or Uber, that had 2 human beings in the front. One sitting behind the steering wheel and the other sitting behind the computer that was running the car. And I thought to myself, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Takes a lot more manpower to operate this autonomous vehicle. What's the point?
They're going to have a chat GDP car, and you can get in it and you can just go, take me here, and it'll say, hey, no problem. And it'll get you there.
Possibly. All right. Well, I truly can't contribute at any high level, gang, because my computer's dead. I'm on my phone. My phone's starting to die. So I'm sorry.
If you don't take this wrong, but you were like useless today.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree.
Oh my God. Well, you know what we should do since you're running out of juice?
Yeah.
Why don't we just give our win for the week?
Oh yeah.
And we'll call it a show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So who wants to go first?
You go first, Ray.
My win for the week. Okay. Is I ordered a new surround sound system for my apartment because sound is very important to me, and I watch a lot of television. I probably shouldn't, but the win was that I actually put the whole thing together yesterday. Okay, including speaker stands for the rear speakers, and I had it working for music, but I couldn't get it to work for the TV. This was the real win. So I went to Sony's customer service website and I did a chat. Okay. And then the person on the other end of the chat said, would you like us to get into your TV and do it? And I'm thinking, they got a little person that can just get into my TV. So I found out that if you push the help button on your Sony remote 5 times, a screen pops up that says, would you like remote help? And you say yes. And then it gives you a code, and you have to give that 9-digit code to the agent, and the agent can then get into your TV, go through all the settings that they need to go through, and like that, It worked perfectly. And I thought, my God, what a wonderful world we live in, where there's a little person living in the back of my TV, can do all that he needs to do, and that they can help old people like me who kept reading the instructions and couldn't figure it out. They just went in and fixed it in like 30 seconds. So that's a huge win but for society in general.
For society in general.
You're funny, man. But
Oh God, right.
I can go next, Kimberly, if that's it.
Okay. Oh yeah, you go ahead, Zach.
My big win, CarEdge report. We were starting to test it yesterday. I'm stoked. I was able to show it yesterday on the show. I think it's going to be huge. Really, really, really proud of the team that's been working behind the scenes on that. Cost of ownership data, black book values, value ratings. It's a lot of good info in one report. So hopefully next week we can get that into people's hands. That was the big win, to see that and be able to test it yesterday. I was so excited about that.
Yeah, that is a huge win. And it's very exciting.
And may I say, that win really is to the benefit of society.
Yes, it is. It really is. I agree, Zach. So my win, there's actually two. We actually had two people in 1 week in our success stories. I'm going to shout it out to Susie here. You guys know that it warms my heart when the finance manager says, how did you know that? How did you know to ask for buy rate money factor? How did you know those terms to use in the finance office? Have you worked at a dealership before? So we had not one, but two people in success stories this week where the finance manager asked them that question. And to me, that is a huge, huge success.
Awesome. That is.
Way to go.
Muy excelente, as they say in the Southwest.
Ah, oui, as they say in France.
Yes, Paris.
You two are cultured.
We're so cultured. We really are.
Yes.
Pops, sorry about the issues. Kimberly, sorry about the issues. I'll try and get things squared away. Dad, I don't know if we're doing a show tomorrow. We should talk after today. I think Laura wants me to go to a birthday party, so I could be indisposed tomorrow. You could do your first ever solo hour show, though. I think that could be interesting.
Well, if we could find a moderator that could pop up the questions in the chat for me, maybe we can.
Wow, that would be really cool.
Yeah, and I could just answer the questions in the chat. It's very difficult for me to talk and look at the questions in the chat to know which ones to click on. But if there was a moderator that could do that, if someone could do that, then yeah, I would take a crack at that.
Okay, challenge accepted. I will find you a moderator. Thank you for offering to do that. I really appreciate that, Dad, because Laura really wants me to be able to go to this birthday party, but I obviously feel torn because I want to support her, but I also want to be here with you and do what we do. I love what we do on Saturday nights. So I really appreciate you offering to do that. That means a lot. Thank you.
I like this. Oh no, not that one. This one. Sure. The old birthday excuse.
Well, Laura
Meister.
Excuse.
I would love to see if we can pull that off tomorrow. I really would.
For those of you who don't believe me, I don't know how to turn the camera around, but I am. Can you see that?
Yep.
What's it say?
It said 4%, and it says it's not charging, but I do have it plugged in. I'm really not that tech savvy, Pops.
Apparently not.
You are to us.
Apparently,
you are to me.
And apparently, Justice has volunteered to be my moderator, so he can pull up questions tomorrow. So, God bless Justice. So I will have a live show, my first ever solo effort.
Have Justice on with you.
Well, yeah, I guess, and Justice could be on as well. Yeah, and he could be the moderator and find the questions. So absolutely, we'll be on tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, 4 o'clock California time for Justice.
What about Alaska?
Don't do that to me. I only know it's 8 a.m. when it's noon here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, and I have to go get ready for another show.
All right, I appreciate both of you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Kimberly, have a great weekend. Zach, have a great weekend. And everybody else, see you here tomorrow night. Otherwise, see you back here Monday. Hey, take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Wait, I guess one of us has to end
You
the
gotta
broadcast.
hit the end.
I guess it should be me.